Nigeria's support to peace, security, and protection of human rights. Relocate your operational headquarters to Dakada Tower. Vice President Oshibajo advises oil companies as he inaugurates iconic building in Uyo.
We have invested more than any other federal administration in infrastructure.
Plus, INEC and Population Commission collaborate to delineate new constituencies.
Technology cannot help us to identify and remove dead persons from the register of voters.
Hello, this is NTA Network News. We are live in Abuja. I am Jumma Yusuf. Adiola Kamiakere will be joining us from Lagos, and Chineye Unwenye is in an Enugu studio. Thanks so much for joining us. Nigeria has reaffirmed strong faith in the United Nations, promising to work with all member countries for peace, security, and development, as well as protection of human rights. Hope for this in the current moment. The country, however, believes depends largely on how the international community assists each other to effectively control and contain the COVID-19 pandemic. President Muhammadu Buhari, who stated this while addressing the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly, alerted the international community over the recent trend of unconstitutional takeover of power in West Africa, thereby eroding gains of democracy. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainably, respond to the needs of the planet, protect the rights of the people, and revitalize the United Nations is the focus of this year's General Assembly. Taking the global stage for the 7th time since coming to power, President Muhammadu Buhari said the solidarity and drive to confront COVID-19 as the first truly global health emergency of the present time is a pointer to the many things the international community can achieve by working together.
I would like to reiterate my call for a fairer and more equitable distribution of vaccines in all countries so that together we can fight and contain the pandemic. No country can afford the socio-economic implications of prolonged shutdown. It is imperative to underscore that no one is safe until everyone is safe.
The COVID-19 pandemic, he said, has increased the risk of new wave of deepening debt and stressed the urgent need to consider expansion and extension of the debt service suspension initiative, including outright cancellation for countries facing the most severe challenges.
Combating illicit financial flows and ensuring the recovery and return of illicitly acquired assets have the potential to provide resources in the immediate term for financing development in the area of COVID-19 pandemic and beyond.
And deeply worried over the high rate of illicit trade, transfer and circulation of small arms and light weapons, the president called for international cooperation in promoting peaceful, unfettered and inclusive participation of states in global actions towards conflict prevention. This is to facilitate the achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development as well as Agenda 2063 of the African Union.
In West Africa especially, the recent trend of unconstitutional takeover of power, sometimes in reaction to unilateral changes of constitution by some leaders, must not be tolerated by the international community. I would like to reiterate that as leaders of our individual member states, we need to adhere to constitutional provisions of our countries, particularly on term limits.
Nigeria also made a strong case for universal, rules-based, open, non-discriminatory and equitable multilateral trading system as engine for economic growth and development, as well as poverty eradication.
We therefore call for the reform agenda that will engender better recovery from this crisis, build resilience to future shocks, and pursue transformative development strategies that can deliver the 2030 sustainable Development Goals. The recent rise in hate-related crimes globally underscores the urgent need to continue our engagement about racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and other related intolerance. We are beginning to forget our affirmation of the inherent dignity and the equal and inalienable rights of every individual as enshrined in the United Nations Charter. No society can claim to be free or just if it is deprived of any one of these rights.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who insists on what he called the irreversible progress on the reform of the Security Council as a matter of justice, also touched on the succeeding fight against terrorism and other violent crimes in parts of the country, as well as plans for a climate-resilient economy towards unlocking the full opportunities in the nation's critical economic sectors. From New York, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Adamu Sambu at the UNGA 76, and we're hoping in the course of the bulletin today, Professor Tijani Mohamed Bandi, Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations, will be joining us to discuss the highlights of the UNGA 76. Nigeria is gaining more foreign direct investments because of the new policy of the federal government that guarantees investor confidence with enabling business environment. Foreign Desk correspondent Usman Aliu reports that the new Iran's administration of Ibrahim Raisi understands positive economic gains being provided in the present Nigeria and has concluded plans to establish direct shipping and flight service with Nigeria.
Iran and Nigeria, big nations in Asia and Africa with different development challenges. The meeting here provides opportunity for the top diplomatic officials representing the two countries to present to each other proposals to improve on their joint economic cooperation. Trade relation expansion, which Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama identified, was welcomed by Iran's Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian. Iran says it is willing to establish direct shipping line and flight services in Nigeria.
I think these are important infrastructures that we have to put in place to facilitate and re-dynamize the relationship, especially trade relationship between our two countries, and we will do that together.
Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and Kenya are all seeking to explore more areas of collaboration with Nigeria. Hence, their ministers of foreign affairs met Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama.
With regards to ECOWAS, we are going through a process of reform at ECOWAS, and of course Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire are amongst the sort of the big countries of ECOWAS. So we were discussing the various developments that are about to take place, and just making sure that we're all on the same page.
These new diplomatic directions point to a destination which development experts say can change dependency to single source of economy and social development. In New York, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
And realizing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 17 requires significant investment in youth development. Participants at the 76th UN General Assembly, while giving account of the progress made by their governments, are optimistic it is the best shot at curbing youth restiveness globally. Charles Alpha reports.
In September 2015, the General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda that includes 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Building on the principle of leaving no one behind, the agenda emphasizes a holistic approach to achieving sustainable development, from Namibia to Istanbul, Saudi Arabia, and New York. Ministers of Youth and Sport and World Youth Partnership for Global Development highlighted intensive engagement of governments in contingencies relating to adaptive skills and training of the youth.
The Ministry of Youth continues to partner with organizations, including UN organizations, to promote activities focusing on peace building, active civic participation through our youth debates and national youth parliaments.
Sport is a tool to address many challenges that we know. Apart from that, also it again hinges on mental health issues. So the I'm With You campaign is really a campaign that we foresee will make a difference in our people's lives.
You reach a certain objective based on who you have in your team and who you partner with to reach that goal.
To achieve global peace, a partnership that includes the youth through social support services and knowledge sharing, they opined, is key. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Still on ONGA 76, a session in the 76th UN General Assembly celebrates the 20 years impact of the global health on AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. Uche Ogochukwu reports that world leaders, private sector and civil society seek ways to sustain the gains made in the face of COVID-19.
20 years ago, the world was overburdened with AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria, which killed millions of people. The creation of the Global Fund in 2001 changed the narrative, saving 44 million lives so far.
That sense of global solidarity, the spirit of optimism, and the relentless focus on saving lives underpin everything the Global Fund has achieved.
The Global Fund brought together governments, civil society, communities, the private sector, technical partners and donors to work jointly towards a common vision.
Deaths resulting from AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria have been reduced by nearly 50% since the peak of the epidemics in countries benefiting from Global Fund.
As vaccination campaigns against COVID-19 proceed globally, we must rekindle the spirit that led to the creation of the Global Fund.
Good data is critical to support, to sharpen our focus, to get the job done, helping countries to fight on and move at the fastest pace.
Speakers called for common grounds to promote efforts towards a more resilient health architecture, while warning that COVID-19 is threatening progress in the fight against these diseases as response to the pandemic is slowing essential investments in low and middle income countries. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Away from ONGA 76 to other matters, a special national award ceremony will be among activities to mark the nation's 61st independence anniversary celebration. Correspondent Mitere Ipen reports that Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture, Ifeoma Anyanwu Taku, disclosed this at a pre-independence anniversary press conference in Abuja, where she represented Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed.
The national honors and awards are usually conferred on Nigerians and friends of Nigeria in recognition of meritorious service rendered to the benefit of the nation. This press conference signals the commencement of activities marking Nigeria's 61st independence anniversary, and the organizers say a prominent feature of this year's independence celebration will be a special national awards ceremony on the eve of this year's anniversary.
It is an occasion for Nigerians to appreciate the efforts of our forebears at gaining independence from the colonial masters and to appreciate the varied contributions of successive administrations at building our nation state.
Other activities lined up for Nigeria's 61st independence celebration include a special interdenominational church service on the 26th of September, a special anniversary parade at the Eagle Square, Abuja on October 1st, as well as a special Juma service same day at the National Mosque. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The federal government has alerted the general public to heightened security activities preparatory to the events marking the country's 61st independence anniversary. The alert is contained in a statement issued by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. The minister, however, urged residents of the Federal Capital Territory and its environs not to panic and to go about their legitimate activities. Residents are also enjoined to report suspicious persons and movements to security agencies through the following numbers: 09630 5396, 09630 5396, 0803 1230631, 0803 1230631, 0803 200 3557 and 122. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has inaugurated the Dakada Tower, a 21-story intelligent building, and urged international oil companies to relocate their operational headquarters to Akwa Ibom State. Professor Osinbajo, who described the building as one of the smartest and tallest in Nigeria, says the property is an answer to the question of accommodation by international oil companies. Susan Asuko reports.
While congratulating the government and the people of the state on the occasion of its 34th anniversary, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says he is delighted to commission the smart building, which was envisioned in 2015. Aside from creating job opportunities, improve the standard of living of the people, especially in the area of real estate, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the smart building will also boost the revenue of the state, as well as open doors for more investment. He commended Governor Udom Emmanuel for the completion of some factories in the state which are currently operational, noting that the industrialization policy of the governor is in line with federal government's focus on infrastructure development.
We have invested more than any other federal administration in infrastructure. As of last year, we had expended over 8.9 trillion on capital. Just last month, the Federal Executive Council approved the Lagos-Calabar Rail project, which will pass through Uyo as a major railway station.
Governor Udom Emmanuel hinted that the smart building is constructed with all the modern technological facilities to accommodate any multinational and international company.
What I have is to serve Akwa Ibom people, is to work day and night, is to be innovative, creative, and move Akwa Ibom forward.
The 21-story smart building is constructed with fire detection and suppression system, building automation systems, CCTVs, among other utilities of world-class standard. In Uyo, Susan Asuko, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA. We take a break. The news continues shortly.
Mr. Kaku like to Kaku. Every day must do Kaku. Yeah, if you want me go Kaku. If you want me go Kaku. Every time he like to reason. Even free things he go bad easy. Glow is there for you in every season. You don't have to over easy.
You don't have to be a Mr. Kaku when it comes to data. Get a Glow MiFi for 12,000 Naira and get up to 60 gigabytes data free.
The National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA, invites the general public to the Presidential Commissioning of Nalda Farm Estate in Jakusko LGA, Yobe State. Date, Saturday, 25th September 2021. Venue, Gasamu, Jakusko LGA, Yobe State. Time, 10 a.m. Special guest of honor, our President, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Special guests, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan. Chief host, His Excellency, Mai Malabuni, Governor, Yobe State. All invited guests are expected to be seated before the arrival of Mr. President. Prince Paul Ikone, Executive Secretary, CEO, Announcer.
The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency heartily welcomes Their Excellencies, the 6 executive governors from the South-South geopolitical zone of Nigeria, to the COVID-19 Town Hall meeting of the South-South zone holding in Benin City, Edo State. We also warmly welcome the distinguished Senator Chukwuka Utazi, Senate Committee Chairman, Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu, Chairman, House Committee on Health, Dr. Haruna Michelia, Chairman, House of Representatives at Health Committee on COVID-19, and all National Assembly members from Edo State to the Town Hall meeting. The meeting is honored to welcome the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, and Chairman, Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Dr. Osage Hanere, the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Olorunibe Mamora, the Honorable Minister of State for Health, their Royal Highnesses, the Chairman, Council of Chiefs from the South-South Zone, traditional and religious leaders, as well as other stakeholders in the zone to an interactive session to discuss COVID-19 vaccination in Nigeria. The date is Saturday, 25th September 2021. Venue, New Festival Hall, Government House, Benin City, Edo State. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Dr. Faisal Shawai, Executive Director, CEO, NPHCDA, Announcer.
Look for pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything is just a blend. If you don't want it good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension day. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
The federal government has commenced second phase of COVID-19 vaccination. If you are 18 years and above and unvaccinated, register at www.nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. Visit the nearest vaccination site to receive AstraZeneca or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine as first dose. If you received your first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine before 8th July, get your second dose now. All COVID-19 vaccines are free and certified safe. At the vaccination site, you can check blood pressure and know your diabetes risk status. Children aged 0 to 23 months will receive childhood vaccines and screened for malnutrition. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
A mother's instincts are hardly ever wrong. She knows when all is not well. And she trusts M&B Paracetamol, the red one, to save the day. With fast-acting and effective M&B Paracetamol tablet, the red one, and its pleasant-tasting pineapple flavor syrup, she sends aches and pains far away from her family. M&B Paracetamol. Pain can't stop you. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
The general public is cordially invited to the World Tourism Day celebration on the theme Tourism for Inclusive Growth. Date 27 September 2021. Venue Presidential Lodge, Benin Kebbi, Kebbi State. Time 9 a.m. prompt. Chief host His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. Guest of honor Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer Ifoma Adara Ayanwutaku, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thanks for joining us. INEC is seeking the collaboration of the National Population Commission, NPC, to conduct a nationwide electoral constituency delineation exercise. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu made the appeal while playing host to the chairman of the NPC, Nasir Isa Kwara, in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Nigeria's population still a guesswork. 200 million, above or less? A major national burden because no census has been conducted for the past 16 years. To find a solution to this challenge brought two institutions together, one demographic, another democratic. An accurate data a currency for credible election and national planning. And the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, needs National Population Commission's assistance in the area of electoral constituency delineation.
Technology cannot help us to identify and remove dead persons from the register of voters. Therefore, I wish to once more appeal to the chairman of the National Population Commission, in your capacity as the Registrar of Birth and Death in Nigeria, to periodically avail us of the data of deceased Nigerians so that we can use the official information from your commission to further clean up the voters register.
Already establishing a national frame for the conduct of census and surveys and continuous birth registration, sorry, not just birth registration, death registration too.
A partnership that has already taken off. A discussion paper prepared by INEC on the delineation of electoral constituencies from the INEC chief to the National Population Commission boss to start the process. Mayor Ogede, NT News.
Let's turn our attention to security matters, as security operatives will have to synergize with civilians at all levels if the fight against insecurity is to be completely won. This is the line of thought of key players at the roundtable discussion on security situation in Afghanistan, its implication for Nigeria, Africa. Adebola Brooks-Sunday reports.
The invasion of United States and its allies after the attack on the World Trade Center drove and scattered most of the Taliban and affiliate group members across the globe. The Taliban take over 20 years after, following the withdrawal of the U.S. forces, has been generating concerns globally. The reason for the discussion on its implication.
Sahel region, there are so many of them operating in that area, as well as Africa. And these terrorist organizations can begin to look at what happened in Afghanistan with a view to saying, okay, maybe they can equally achieve the same fate.
There has to be a synergy or an interplay of these elements for us to be able to deliver the mandates of peace and security in our land.
Minister of Defense and that of Interior, who were represented, told the roundtable that the federal government is not relenting on its efforts in securing the territorial integrity of the nation.
Mr. President continues to give necessary support to the armed forces and other security agencies in counter-terrorism, insurgency, other emerging threats to our dear nation.
It is good for us to take proactive measures, proactive solutions, strategic planning.
Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya said the relative peace being experienced in the state is as a result of the adoption of the spirit of nationalism and patriotism.
Now make sure that those that are de-radicalized are really reintegrated back to our communities, with vocations and skills that will help them to be economically strong enough to be self-reliant.
The event was organized by Alumni Association of the National Defense College in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor. The need for knowledge tapping from retired but experienced officers in the information gathering and strategic execution also resonated. From the National Defense College, Adebola Brooks-Sunday, NTA News.
And as part of efforts to bring succor to the families of deceased personnel, the Inspector General of Police has presented checks of more than 22 million naira to the families of 15 police personnel who died in active service from the Nasarawa State Command. Victoria Kaswa Ojito reports that the Commissioner of Police, Nasarawa State Command, Adeshina Soyemi, performed the ceremony on behalf of the IGP.
The gesture, which is an initiative of the Inspector General of Police Group Life Assurance, is to support the family of the deceased police officers who lost their lives on the line of duty. This, which is the first of its kind under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, the Commissioner of Police, Nasarawa State Command, said it is to boost the morale of police officers in the country while presenting checks to the beneficiaries. The Commissioner of Police urged them to make judicious use of the money. America Kelvin, a beneficiary of the IGP's goodwill, thanked the Inspector General of Police and the entire police force for the goodwill. Each beneficiary was given different amount of money based on the rank of the late personnel before their demise. In Lafia, Victoria Castle Ojito, NTA News.
A total number of 1,818 persons have received grants to support their business from post-COVID-19 loans operational cost. Tessie Koka reports that the beneficiaries met the World Bank criteria through the instrumentality of the Delta Care, Nigeria Care and Bank of Industry.
The COVID-19 Action Recovery Economic Stimulus is a $750 million intervention program targeted at affected communities, households, businesses, and the vulnerable. Therefore, the Bank of Industry is proud to be part of this impactful feat in supporting Nigerians' small and medium-scale enterprises. The program has supported the delivery of several intervention programs, disbursing over $7.72 million to over 3.8 million beneficiaries in the last 5 years.
In our effort and drive to support the growth and development of MSME's ecosystem, we provide single-digit interest rates loans with relatively long tenure alongside moratorium opportunities.
We will not allow anybody in Delta State to sleep with empty belly. And that's why we have agreed that we should kick off this first.
With Governor Kowa's launch of the Delta COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus tagged Delta Care Program, more people have now benefited.
The program, which we have domesticated as the Delta Cares, is a 2-year emergency recovery program aimed at supporting state governments' budgeted program of expenditures and interventions to enable them expand access to livelihood support, food security services, and grants for poor and vulnerable households and families.
TechCares is a program for result intervention.
Some beneficiaries expressed hope in government as the intervention programs.
I extend my gratitude to the federal government, to our Governor Okowa, and the Bank of Industry.
I've been credited, I'm so excited, and I thank the Governor and the World Bank in general.
It is expected that the beneficiaries will make judicious use of the grants for economic growth. In Asaba, Tessie Koka, NTA News.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simi Wabote, has been honored with the African Local Content Icon Award. The award is in recognition of his efforts at development of the local content policy in Nigeria and inspiring other African countries to local content policy implementation. Timi O'Hare reports.
The local content policy of the federal government, among other things, is to ensure indigenous participation in the oil and gas industry. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board is the agency charged with the responsibility of implementing the policy. Upon assumption of office as the third executive secretary of the board, Mr. Simbi Wabote has been found passionate and competent in delivering the mandate of NCDMB. The African Local Content Icon Award by the Leadership magazine is therefore a recognition of Mr. Wabote's dedication and commitment to improve implementation of the local content policy of the federal government.
I feel that there is so much that we need to talk about showcasing his work and what he's done globally. And that is one central message for me from this meeting that we've had today. There is so much that has been said, and I'm going to request for the documents and some of the presentations done here today so that we can review and actually do a detailed report on some of his accomplishments and achievements over the past years.
Mr. Simbi Wabote will receive the award with gratitude, underscore the importance of local content within within the African continent and across the globe. The award, he noted, will spur the board to greater heights and encourage them to appreciate the fact that what they are doing is being seen and appreciated globally as a game changer in the oil and gas sector. The NCDMB boss dedicated the award to his family, staff of the board, and online voters, even as he looks forward to more achievements.
It's quite significant, especially when you're continuously facing a headwind. So for me, it's recognition of that focus, dexterity, perseverance to push an agenda for the development of Nigeria by Nigerians themselves.
Top functionaries of the board, in their remarks, promised to support the executive secretary for improved performance. Bias cultural troupe was on hand to entertain guests. In Yenagua, Sininopri, Ohia, NTA News.
Lagos is our first port of call on Network News tonight, and Adiola will be our guide. It's good to see you, Adiola.
Good to see you too, Jumai. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control is soliciting for more collaboration with telecommunication companies in Nigeria to intensify the fight against COVID-19. This was during a roundtable meeting of a Director General of NCDC with Nigerian telecommunication companies executives to appreciate their contributions to the COVID-19 response. Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora has the details.
In 2020, Nigeria, like the rest of the world, was faced with a new pandemic which fast spread, destabilized the economy, and left hundreds of people dead. While the virus raged on, so many misinformation led to panic among citizens. To check the trend, the NCDC collaborated with telecommunication companies who gave rapid mobilization of support for SMS dissemination with life-saving information and digitization of surveillance, among others. This meeting is therefore convened to recognize their support to the fight against COVID-19. Even as the virus lingers, the Director General, NCDC, is seeking more collaboration with the telecoms and private organizations to enable the center plan for the future.
We've started with telcos, we've worked with Kakovid. There have been many of those collaborations in the best interest of Nigeria. Our responsibility now is to be strategic about using those resources to build for the future and to build a better country, a more resilient country, a more sustainable response to this outbreak.
The telecom executives pledged their continued support to the service of humanity.
We are ready to support initiatives of government under the leadership of the NCC as a regulator.
And we will continue to serve various parties, various institutions of government and the public in as many ways as we can.
As relevant stakeholders in the telecommunication industry and health sector partner to sustain the fight against COVID-19 in the country, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, hopes that this meeting will strengthen national health security for the future. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
Women and girls have again been given their position as nation builders and unifying factor. This time, a reality TV show is birthed for girls tagged Miss Campus Niger in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports that the show is open only to undergraduates and fresh graduates from all tertiary institutions in Nigeria.
Miss Campus Niger reality TV show was introduced out of the yearning of academic community to spotlight its abundant human resources. It is designed to select the most beautiful and personable girl who combines physical beauty with brains and intelligence from campuses of tertiary institutions all over Nigeria.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Unlike the conventional beauty pageants, where winners are determined by a panel of judges, the Miss Campus Niger reality TV show is different.
We have entrepreneurship development skills for them that captains of industry will come and teach them how to start a small business and other kinds of professions. We still have where they will showcase their cultural and tradition from each state.
The Miss Campus Nigeria reality TV show, which will begin on the 7th of November, will last for 3 months. Meanwhile, registration opens from Saturday, 25th September, while the voting process starts on the 30th of the same month. There were goodwill messages from relevant stakeholders at the unveiling of the reality TV show.
It was one of the most services that we've seen a potential and at the same time something that touches every youth Nigerian girl's heart, and which is something very big, so we gave it our best.
But these programs tend to be more educative, more informed, more attractive, more entertaining.
The winner of the reality TV show will take home a grand prize of 50 million naira. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos. We'll go on another break. The news will continue thereafter. Please stay with us.
What's on your bucket list? Would you like to travel the world? Live your best life. What if I told you you could blow right this minute and do everything on that list? Airtel is celebrating its anniversary and saying thank you to all loyal customers. You stand a chance to win up to 100 million naira with guaranteed cash tokens in the Airtel Recharge and Blow Anniversary promo. Plus 250 megabytes and 20 SMS free. How awesome is that? All you have to do is recharge to win. For more information, dial *444*4#. Everyone's a winner. So hurry now. The more you recharge, the more you win.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We've had many battles, we have won some wars, but in all our struggles, we have lost loved ones. It may be cloudy outside, but not for very long. We will surely see the sun, 'cause we know no matter the weather, no matter the tide, we go there together. We stand by your side. No yawa, no problem. Go fit stand to fight us. We go stand together. We go beat them down.
We love dances that create wow performances. And for many stains, we need wow. Amazing washing power. Each wow pack gets a lot of clothes clean and fresh. Wow. Washes a lot, saves a lot.
Wow Wash and Win Millions promo. Millions of naira, daily prizes, and a million wow sachets are up for grabs. Buy wow now. Offer valid till October 25th, 2021.
With star 966 Easy Banking, you can open a Zenith Bank account, purchase airtime and data, make transfers to any bank in Nigeria, pay bills and make POS payments, create a wallet account, and perform other self-service options like PIN and password reset and temporary blockage of your account. Star 966 is fast, easy, and convenient. And more importantly, it can be used on any phone type as it requires no data. Dial star 966 to get started now. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
When you wake up in the morning, before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
You back
back to school. Have a session filled with lots of fun and excitement. Stay safe, stay healthy. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol, Dettol Sure.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol. Dettol Sure.
We are Dettol, Dettol Sure.
Confidence is important in life's little moments. Strong teeth can help, even if they get her into trouble sometimes. A great smile is useful to break the ice, and making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent Triple Protection 123. Its antibacterial action formula gives them cavity protection, white teeth, and fresh breath. The confidence of 3 toothpaste in 1. Pepsodent Triple Protection 123.
You're welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the redeployment of 5 permanent secretaries. A statement by the head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi Esan, says William Nwoko Alo moves from Power to Police Service Commission. Abel Olumiwa Enaton of Environment swapped positions with Hassan Musa of Aviation, while Nebi Olisa Anako of Youth and Sports Development takes over in Power to give room to Ismaila Abubakar Police Service Commission to move to Youth and Sports Development. The redeployments are with immediate effect. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Saidia Umar Farouk, says the homegrown school feeding program will be extended to capture more beneficiaries to encourage enrollment in public primary schools in the country. The minister stated this while handing over 50,000 utensils for school feeding program in Eola, Adamawa State. Abdullahi Ayuba Dalwa reports.
The homegrown school feeding program was designed to encourage enrollment and discourage school dropout the country is recording. The handing over of 50,000 utensils to Adamawa State government for onward sharing to primary school pupils in public schools in the state is a continuation of the program that many describe as a good thing that ever happened to the education sector, especially at the primary schools level in many years.
So this school feeding program is mainly designed to address poverty in all its forms, and it's a close implementation collaboration between the federal government and the state government.
To Adamawa State government, the program is timely, looking at the challenges the state is battling with as a result of activities of insurgents, and commended the federal government for the gesture.
I'm sure we will take it with every seriousness and will monitor and ensure that which accrues to Adamawa State from this program will claim it.
In Yola, Abdullahi Ayuba Dalwa, NTA News.
The Director General of NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, has given assurance to acquire a new power plant to support operations of NTA Maiduguri Network Center following 9 months of total outage in most parts of Borno State due to vandalization of the national grid lines. The DG stated this while interacting with staff of the center as part of his official visit to Maiduguri on national assignment. Muhammad Ibrahim reports.
The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, was in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, to attend a town hall meeting on vandalization of power infrastructure and had to make time to interact with staff on the way forward. The DG appreciated the management and staff of the Maiduguri Network Center for maintaining operations despite security challenges and lack of power supply from the national grid due to vandalization of power lines that led to total blackout from the national grid to Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, and assured the situation will improve.
Now, with the situation normalizing, NTA Maiduguri, is slowly but surely getting its place as one of the best donor centers in this country. So the good news I'm giving to the workers of NTA Maiduguri Zonal Center is we are doing very well, and because we are doing very well, I'll give you more work.
While responding to questions, the DG announced that requests by headquarters for upward review of staff allowances and palliative has reached the presidency awaiting approval. Zonal Director NTA Maiduguri Network Center Isha Anania Uba had requested interventions for power plant to run 10 kilowatts transmitter and more staff. He appreciated the DG for numerous support to the station, which yielded 2 vehicles and 10 million naira donation from Borno State government during his previous visit. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
Enugu Network Center is next. Chineye is standing by with more reports.
The Federal Ministry of Works and Housing has appealed to motorists to be patient as it is working to reinstate the collapsed section of the Onitsha-Owerri Expressway within the Obosi-Onitsha axis, Anambra State, which caved in this Tuesday due to erosion. Joy Ilebu has details.
Commuters and travelers on the ever-busy Onitsha-Owerri Expressway by the Meteorological Institute, Obosi-Onitsha, were stranded following the collapse of a portion of the road after a heavy downpour as a result of erosion which had eaten deep into the expressway, a situation which was blamed on lack of proper drainages and poor attitude to waste disposal.
Flash flood can come at any time and, take over the environment and ravage anything.
We are suffering. Let government to help us because we don't have anything to do again. And now I'm from Oba Junction Old Road with leg now going to Mbuka. So from there now we take a key to Opiweka.
This good that they divide to this side. That's the problem. It's caused all this thing.
Vehicular movement on the road has been suspended and traffic diverted to alternative routes to enable a construction company which was mobilized carry out immediate repair works on the failed portion.
We have succeeded in cordoning off the work area, and we hope that in the next 1 or 2 days the contractor will fully reinstate the road and people will be able to move freely.
The Onitsha-Owerri Expressway is a crucial road connecting the state to other parts of the country. From Obosi, Joy Ilebu, NTA News.
Ahead of the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the party's zoning committee says it has no mandate to zone political offices such as President or Vice President of Nigeria. Chairman of the committee, Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, disclosed this to journalists at the end of its meeting held in Enugu. Susan Eze reports that the meeting was held under closed door.
Among the members of the committee who arrived the Enugu State Government House for the meeting include the Governor of Benue State, Dr. Samuel Otom, who is the Deputy Chairman of the committee, and the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Mandi Aliu Mohammed, who serves as the Secretary. At the end of the closed-door meeting, the committee chairman and Governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, announced that they had fruitful deliberations and that the meeting adjourned to conclude next week. Though the meeting held behind closed doors, the chairman, in his opening speech, which was later made available to journalists, clarified that the committee has no mandate to zone political offices such as President or Vice President of Nigeria. The governor explained that the committee's mandate is strictly limited to the PDP National Executive offices to be contested at the 2021 National Convention of the party, scheduled for October 2021. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Enugu. The news continues with Jume in Abuja after this commercial break. Do stay.
Public policy issues on 5G network is our focus on NTA